to What's Cooking New Ulm. I'm Rebecca Fliszar, the dietitian with the Hearts Beat Back Heart of New Ulm project, working to reduce and eventually eliminate heart attacks in the 56073 zip code. Well, our episode this week is going to hit home with most of us. As the weather turns colder, most of us tend to hibernate, cut back on our physical activity, and maybe not make the best food choices. Well, our recipe today will take care of all of our good health needs, and it's going to taste great. So what we have is a creamy chicken wild rice soup. It's going to keep you warm on those cold days, and it's going to really fill you up. So welcome to Carol Laitinen. She's going to be our guest today. Welcome.
Thank you.
And Carol is actually one of our district leaders. So Carol, tell us a little bit about how you became involved in the Heart of New Ulm and the things that you're doing to help us out.
It started when Heart of New Ulm asked for volunteers, and I was very interested in the Heart of New Ulm. I had been screened and thought it was a great opportunity to improve health. And when you asked for district leaders, I stepped forward and volunteered, and have been working with another district leader, Bobby, for planning a number of different activities for our district and really for the whole city. It's been a lot of fun, and I've learned a lot.
Well, great. Carol, you've had some pretty successful events, haven't you? Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you and Bobby have put together and some of the attendance that you've seen?
We started with doing a Dance Your Heart Out in the park, in Lincoln Park, and we actually invited all ages. We started with 18 people, and then it went to 35, 40. The most we had was about 80 people, and we had a finale at Turner Hall. Turner Hall was great, giving us their facility in case it rained or if it was too hot. We actually used it one time there too. And then we did Truck and Treat, which was offering some healthy treats along the bike trail during October. And now we've been doing Taste of Fitness, where we've been offering free classes at Anytime Fitness, so people can get into a gym and just see what some of the different possibilities are there.
Well, that's great. Now, it's important to know that Carol is the district leader of Dusseldorf, correct?
Right.
So that is her district, but all of the events that she and Bobby plan together are open to our entire community, so anybody can attend these events. So do you have any ideas of things you'd like to do in the future?
Well, we just met this morning, as a matter of fact, and we're talking about doing an inside Dance Your Heart Out.
Great.
And maybe some more kickball or a kickball tournament. We did do that one time, and that was well received as well.
Great, great. You know, so many of us have forgotten about the Schottish polka and some of the other fun dances that we did, and it was a really great time. So if you haven't been to some of the community events yet, this might be a great opportunity to jump on board. Carol, you and Bobby have done a wonderful job putting these together, and they've been a lot of fun. So now back to our recipe. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be making, where you found the recipe, and why you like it?
Well, it came from the Heart of New Ulm booklet, and I was paging through it, and instead of throwing it out like I do with so many things that come in the mail or whatever, I decided to try some of these recipes, and I really liked this cream of turkey or chicken and wild rice soup, which is a favorite in Minnesota.
Right, right. So it's one of our great Minnesota staples, but we're going to make it a little bit more heart healthy, correct?
Right,
okay.
Right. And it's great for after Thanksgiving if people have extra turkey. Today we're going to do it with chicken.
Right. Okay, so why don't we start talking about the ingredient list for this recipe and what you'll be adding in.
Okay. Well, we start with the olive oil, and we're going to use a tablespoon of that to saute our celery and our carrots and our mushrooms, which are over here.
All right. And now tell us, you're going to use a little bit of shallots, right?
Yes, and that's something new even to me. And it's a combination between an onion and a garlic tasting onion.
That's right. So it's a hybrid of the two. So if you're not big on the strong taste of onion and not so much on garlic, but you'd like a little bit of both, they're great for heart health. A shallot is a good idea. These are available at our local grocers. They're a little bit more expensive, so if that's something you don't want to invest in, you surely can substitute a regular onion for that shallot with a little garlic on the side. So if you want to get creative, it's going to peel just like an onion. So you can see this is how it's going to start. It's going to have that typical skin on the outside, and it's going to come right back down to just like a regular onion inside. And Carol, you'll be cutting that up for us soon, huh?
Right.
Great. So what else do we have?
Well, we thicken it with a little bit of salt. With a little bit of flour, and then add pepper. We have some reduced sodium chicken broth, which we'll add, and then the wild rice, cooked wild rice, and a cooked turkey, some sour cream, reduced fat sour cream, and some fresh parsley.
Great. Now, a couple of things that we changed. So we are using the chicken today, but you can use the turkey. Also, the wild rice we did prepare ahead of time. It did take about 20 minutes to set. That's something that you can easily prepare, and you can actually store that in the refrigerator for later. It does keep its texture quite well. It's a little bit higher in nutrients than that white rice, and it's going to add a distinct flavor. So do include that wild rice into this recipe. Let's go ahead and start cooking.
Okay, we'll start by putting 1 tablespoon of the extra light virgin oil in a pan.
Again, if you're not looking to invest quite as much into the regular olive oil, you can use another vegetable-based oil. That's still going to be good. It's going to help bring up the good cholesterol and down the bad. It is what we're looking for. You do want to limit that usage on that. It still is high in calories. We don't want to add extra oil if we can avoid it.
And we have 3/4 cup of celery and 3/4 cup of carrots.
Okay. And again, Carol, as you mentioned before we started to film, that you can surely add plenty of vegetables into this. So if you like celery, if you're big on carrots, or if you want to get creative, you can add things like fennel, jicama, peppers. Anything you'd like in here is going to definitely change the flavor, but if we can make it even more heart healthy, then that's what we're looking for. That looks great. You know, so many of these ingredients, too, are on sale at the grocery stores. This was one of the free items last week at the grocery store, your carrots and celery. Dig in your refrigerator, find out what's in season, find out what's going to be your lowest cost vegetables, and throw them in the pot. This is a great recipe, and you can definitely tailor it to your own family. You'll notice that Carol is leaving the skin on the carrots. Remember, we do keep our nutrients a little bit better if we hold on to those skins. Carrots are high in vitamin A, definitely something we're looking for in the winter as well. Now, Carol, what would you normally serve with this? What kind of sides, or would you just use this for your whole meal?
Well, you can have crackers, or I think I made, what did I make? I made pumpkin muffins with these,
great.
Which was also in the Heart of New Ulm cookbook.
Now, the cookbook that Carol is referring to was available and still is to all community residents. They are found in your red grocery bags if you came to the community summit or if you were at any of our leader meetings. Those were available. If you're interested in those, the recipes are on the Heart of New Ulm website, or you can give us a call at the office at 233-1945, and we'll get those for you as well. Yeah, these carrots will soften up real nice once we get them in the pot for you. And so how much of the carrots are we looking for, Carol?
3/4 cup also,
Okay.
But as I said, when I made it, I put in more carrots and celery. You can, that's the good thing about soups. You don't really have to be exact.
You know, the nice thing about this recipe, too, as I mentioned, is going to be very filling. So your portion size is actually going to be a little bit smaller just because it is so filling. This is really just an enjoyable recipe to make. In the cookbook as well, you'll find things like a bruschetta or other whole wheat croutons, definitely things that you could make at home to throw in with this soup as well. All right, so now Carol's going to go ahead and cut the shallot. You're going to see you're going to cut that just like an onion. It is going to have that same effect as well. You're going to notice that your eyes water, and you can definitely smell that. So, but it is going to add a lot of flavor to your soup as well. One shallot will basically produce about, the yield will be about a 1/2 cup. So if you're not sure if you like the shallots, you can use smaller amounts or maybe try them on the side before you add them into your recipe.
It's beginning to sizzle here.
All right.
Just going to cook that up a little bit.
We're going to soften up, we're going to soften up the carrots and celery, and then in go the mushrooms. And that's going to add a lot of really bright color to this meal. Well, while Carol goes ahead and softens up these vegetables, let's go ahead and check in with Holly for our Fit in 5.
Did you know that the Heart of New Ulm currently has a community health challenge and that you're involved? Everybody in New Ulm is in the challenge. We divided New Ulm into 24 different districts, and every single one of you has a district leader. You also have the opportunity to participate in some free offerings throughout the community, no matter what your district is in. So there are some great ways out there right now for you to try lots of different ways to be physically active with your friends and neighbors. For example, the Dusseldorf district, who's led by Bobby Four and Carol Laitinen, is having a taste of fitness at Anytime Fitness. There are a variety of free fitness classes that will be held at Anytime Fitness throughout the months of November and December. There's also a district holding a fitness class the first Saturday of every month at the medical center here in the auditorium. That's led by the Heidelberg district, whose leader is Shar Danheim. We also have a variety of walking clubs going on throughout the community that you're invited to come and participate in. If you've always wanted to try your hand at belly dancing, we even have a belly dancing class at no cost to you that you can come and take here at the Medical Center's auditorium on November 18th. We offer yoga, qigong, and Zumba, and a variety of other activities. So if these are things you've always wanted to try, you have the opportunity to do these again at no cost. So I would invite you to get out there with your neighbors, get active, and attend one of our district events. You can find our district events on our website at www.heartsbeatback.org or by calling our office administrator, Sean Hildebrandt, at 233-2049. She'll gladly direct you where you need to go. So New Ulm, get out, get active. For today's Fit in 5, I'm Holly, and have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Holly. Make sure everybody stays active. Use Holly's tips. Even stay active 5 minutes every hour, and you're going to keep your heart health at a higher level. The winter isn't going to be as hard on you, and you know spring's going to be a lot better. It's going to be easier to get out there in those swimsuits. It's just around the corner. All right, Carol, tell us where you're at and what you got going.
I'm adding the mushrooms. You have 2 cups of mushrooms, which is about 4 ounces.
Okay.
And we'll just soften those up a little bit. It's very colorful.
Yeah, it sure is. Now, too, you don't have to over-soften the vegetables with this recipe. They are going to be sitting in a liquid in the soup, so they don't have to be completely softened. You can continue to move along with that recipe if you like. This is one of our quicker soup recipes, and you can have a nice warm meal for your family in less than 30 minutes. So that's a pretty quick turnaround on this recipe.
And then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of flour to thicken it.
Now, if you don't have flour, I've had some great suggestions on this recipe. You can use things like instant mashed potatoes. You can use things like evaporated milk. So use what you have. There's ways to add protein into this meal or add a different flavor. So the instant mashed potatoes will definitely change it, but it will be a great thickener.
And a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper.
Also listed in this recipe, there's going to be a call for salt. It is something that we decided to just go ahead and forego. We like to keep our sodium levels as low as possible, and we will have plenty of salt, even in a low sodium chicken broth. You're going to have plenty of salt in there, and you're going to have just as much flavor, and it's going to be better for your blood pressure. So, you know, if you can find those ways to keep it out, go ahead and leave the salt in the cabinet.
And then we have 4 cups of reduced sodium chicken broth, which we'll add.
And that's already starting to look great.
I'll just thicken it up.
All right. And Carol, why don't we go ahead and start pulling apart our chicken while that starts heating up over there. And what we did was we bought just a regular rotisserie chicken at the grocery store. It's going to save us, again, some time, make it a little more convenient for us. And you know what? These are actually done quite well. We want to make sure we're taking that skin off and finding as much meat in there as we can. So how much meat are we going to need total here, Carol?
We actually only need 3 cups,
okay,
which probably will be most of it.
Right, right. This will give you a good combination of both the white and dark meats. If you want to make this recipe even healthier, you can go ahead and purchase chicken breasts, brown those up, and add those into your recipe. It will be a little bit more expensive, a little bit more time consuming, but it is one step closer to a perfect heart health meal. Now with this, I would normally serve breads or crackers, but remember with the rice, you do have a complete meal. You have your carbohydrates in there, so it's not really required to have anything on the side. Now, Carol, do you and your family make changes now during the holidays to make sure you stay heart healthy, or what kind of modifications have you made since Heart of New Ulm started?
We have actually been eating a lot more vegetables. My husband thinks I have a stealth vegan program going on. It's not that we don't eat meat anymore, but we've just really upped the vegetables. And I have noticed a difference in my own health, actually.
Good.
And I thought I led a fairly healthy life.
Great.
I actually was gestationally diabetic with all 4 of my pregnancies, so I learned a long time ago that I needed to eat healthy. But you know, you can always learn new things your whole life, and really that's what the Heart of New Ulm has done for me too.
That's right. That's right, and that's what it is. It's a lifestyle change. You're going to continue to make small modifications, and you're going to end up with great changes. So that is exactly what we like to hear. Remember, when we're making lifestyle changes, it is for your lifetime. So trying to make too many dramatic changes at one time are not going to work. So slowly but surely is going to win the race in good heart health. Yeah, you did a great job there, Carol. I didn't think you left any meat in there. That's good. And again, if you want to add extra chicken in, it's going to be a great source of protein. You can throw that in as well.
Okay. We're just going to guess on how much 3 cups is here.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
So is that pretty good?
Yep.
And then we will just add that to our recipe.
And that's already starting to thicken up. You can see that's starting to have a creamy base appearance. And you know, without the actual cream or cream of mushroom soup or any of the other cream-based ingredients that we use, you're still going to have a lot of great flavor, but boy, what a reduction in our overall calories and saturated fat.
Now I'm just going to bring our rice over here.
Okay, how can I help you, Carol? Anything? You got it?
Do you want to hold that?
Sure.
Oh, my hand. No, I'm going to have you lift this because my hands are all greasy.
Okay, there we go.
Thank you.
There you go. Yeah, that's starting to thicken up really well. The last ingredient then Carol will be adding will be our low-fat sour cream. Again, I did say low-fat, so you don't have to go completely to fat-free sour cream if you're not quite ready to make that change. But one step down to the low-fat is going to make it that much more heart healthy, have a reduction in our overall saturated fat intake, and our overall calorie limit. So let's go ahead and get that in there.
I guess it's over here.
All right.
Let's see, what can we use for this?
When you look at the overall cost on this recipe as well, you're going to find that this is going to feed up to 6 to 8 servings. 6 to 8 servings. So it's really going to be a very low cost per meal dinner that you've put together. It's great heart health, and it's going to improve that overall Heart of New Ulm score. Well, that looks great, Carol.
Thanks. And we can just add some fresh parsley too.
Great. As you've heard me mention many, many times before, parsley is not just a garnish on the plate. It's going to be high in vitamin C, and it's going to be high in many of the nutrients that we love to take in for our good heart health diet. Make sure you're adding it in. It's going to have a very distinct flavor, and it's really going to add that last shot of color for this recipe. While Carol finishes that up, I wanted to mention a few of our upcoming events for the Heart of New Ulm. We do have our Jingle Bell Jam that will be running this weekend. We want to make sure everybody gets an opportunity to get out and participate. It's our 4-mile run, and last year we had over 600 participants. So if you weren't part of the fun last year, be sure to get on board this year. Give us a call at 233-1945 or check us out on the web at heartofnewulm.org and get those registrations in.
We did not do it last year, but my husband and I are going to be doing it this year.
Great, great.
So
we
we're looking forward to that.
Yep. You know, it is possible to stay active in the winter. It's okay to get outside. We are Minnesotans, so we have to get used to it. It comes every year. Well, that's great, Carol. That looks good. Now, how long are you going to let that simmer with the parsley, or are we done?
You're pretty close to done now. If you need to let it simmer a little bit longer, fine. You know, soups are very adjustable, whatever you need to do. You would be ready to serve it right now, though.
All right. Well, let's get that in a bowl and see how it looks so everybody can take a look at that.
Okay, Becca, sorry. Would you like to try some of this?
Yes, it looks great. Let's see how it looks. Perfect. So that's a great serving size. You're going to see the great color in here from the wild rice, our carrots, celery, and it does taste wonderful. It smells great in here, and I can't wait to eat. Well, Carol, it's been a pleasure having you on today. You know, we thank you for all you've done for the community and for the Heart of New Ulm. And if you haven't met Carol yet, get out to one of our Community Health Challenge events. She's always available to answer questions, and she's engaging with everyone. So make sure you come up and say hello and tell her you saw her on the cooking show. That's it for this week's episode of What's Cooking, New Ulm. We'll see you next week.